Howdy y'all, welcome back to some acoustic guitar lessons. This is volume number 10, so you can get out your Roy Clark big note guitar book. Now actually, hey, look at me today. A bunch of polka dots blew up and landed on my shirt. I look like some guy, buddy guy actually. If you don't get it, you guys need to study on your blues. Go Google that, buddy guy. Okay, anyway, today we are going to learn one of the last chords that we're going to do for a little bit. Then we're going to get into some stuff that actually takes some brainage to do. We're going to learn two different versions of a B chord. B as in boy, so we're going to learn a B and a B7. Okay? And then we're going to, like I said, get into a few lessons of theory, which are there to teach you why chords are made up of what they are, how you can figure out how different chords are made without even any second guessing, and another kind of theory that will allow you to find out what chords can be in every song there is in the world. Really cool stuff, a lot of neat things. So that's what's coming up after this. So today, make sure you're in tune. Here's a E chord. So if you're anywhere near that, okay, so I hope you've been having some fun here. I'm going to get rid of this pick just strictly for contrast on this guy, buddy guy. Okay, now our B chords that I want to use, I'm going to relocate my lighting source. Okay, a typical B chord is exactly like the A chord if you play it with the one finger A chord, but you cannot hit the high E string. Okay, so it's everything at the second fret. Now here's where we get into what's we discussed a bar earlier when we did like an F chord. We're actually barring, means one finger covers more than one string at a time. Okay, in this first type of B chord, what we're actually trying to do is take this A chord and move it up 2 more frets, so everything's at the 4th fret. Okay, but we're going to do it with our ring finger, and it's going to be covering the D, G, and B strings. Okay, D, G, B. But then we have to, so that's your bar. But then we are actually going to put one finger, our first finger, at the 2nd fret on the A string. So you have 4 strings you can play from the A string on down. Okay, that's one B, or you can play it like the A that is played thusly. We have 3 different fingers playing it. That same thing with that finger right here on the A string, 2nd fret, but then you use your remaining fingers on 4th fret, 4th fret, 4th fret on the D, G, A, and you actually have to bar across this finger now. We were barring this, but if you want to play it this way, you bar that across so you can get 5 notes. Okay, can you see what I'm doing there? Okay, so I'm up here with the B. So when you think of this, you could take this everywhere. You can move it up 1 more fret and it's a C. Same as this. Just a different way of doing it. It's just, you'll find that we have different locations. Like for like a C chord, there's like 20 different ways you can play it. Here's one, here's one, here's one, here's one, here's one, here's one, they're everywhere. And you'll learn all those. It becomes simple because you're here with Scott. Okay, so that'll be a C, a D, an E. Okay, so you'll hear songs like Cocaine by Eric Clapton, originally written by J.J. Cale, and it's like, so that's using that same type of thing, but I'm just, when it goes to you, so that's just E, D, C, B. It's just that same thing that I just showed you, where you were playing the B this way, but you're only playing a couple notes. Okay, so the original J.J. Cale version did have these extra notes in it. Okay, so that's one way to do a whole bunch of regular B major chords. This way, just play 3 notes, or bar them and play 4 notes, or put them back there again like this and bar this finger all the way across and play 5 strings. Okay, now before we go to the B7, which is one you're going to use probably as evenly as this one, just remember that if you're playing it with one finger like this, you can use all the exact same things that I already showed you when you're playing an A chord. You can go, you're like, you didn't show me that. Oh, most certainly did. Go back and check it out. And this is just A scale, but this is just going from up here to the 7th on the E, 6, then play your bar at the 4th, then 7 on the B, 5 at the B, open it up to the 4, then you got 6 on the G, let it off, 6 on the D, let it off, then we're going to do 5, 6, there's a hammer on the A, okay, 5, 6, and then try, go back to the G string where you're on the 4th fret. Okay, so that's all that kind of stuff. We learn all this again on the A, and you can do it again here, and I expect you to learn that. I told you this was a modal chord, not mobile, but might as well be the same thing. It's just one that you can, here's A with all those. Now I'm going to go to D. It's just because we're playing that same bar. So now we're barring it in B. The G string is going to delegate what the chord is. So that's a B note. I expect you to know your notes by now. Again, that was something you were supposed to learn on your own 9 lessons ago. Okay, so that can go anywhere, and if you know the name, which you should, on the G string, you just use that one finger and keep playing. You can do every song, with every Christmas song or every cartoon song, playing that kind of thing. And you could play almost any song with one finger. Dolly Parton has to because of her long fingernails. She actually retunes her guitar going E, B, G sharp, E, B, E. So that's what's called an open E chord. So it's like something like that when she's not playing anything. And if she puts down one finger barring all 6 strings, it sounds like this. And then at the 7th fret, if she played with one finger, it would sound like this. But she just have to go then one finger and one finger with those big long nails. And amazing writer though, man. The gal has all the talent in the flippin' world, and almost all the money too. Written some of the best songs of all time. But she's the one that turned a lot of people on to, well, you can just, you know, tune your guitar different, use your finger as a capo, which we'll get into capos later too. Okay, so now the B7. This here is a chord that you're going to use an awful lot if you're into country, bluegrass, folk, any of that kind of stuff. It's the one that is in, period, all of those. So say we're in the key of E, and then we go to A, then we go back to E, and then I'm going to go to the B7, which looks like this, and you're going to recognize this. So the best way to let you know about this chord is to play it, and then play it in context. Okay, E, A, E, B7. There's your E, up to A, walk down to E, here comes that B7. Okay, so you always hear that. So that there's the chord that makes that happen. Okay. To a little Tennessee flat top box. Roseanne Cash did that one too. A lot of Johnny Cash with that B7 in there. So here it is. It is, figure this. You're going to put your middle finger on the A string, 2nd fret. All your fingers are going to be right here on the 2nd fret. But you're going to skip a string with every single one of them. So you got A string, 2nd fret. Then you just don't put anything on the D string. Put your ring finger on the 2nd fret of the G string. Then you don't do anything for your B string. Then you put your pinky on the 2nd fret of the E string. Okay, but we still got one finger left. That's right, we use them all this time. We got to put it on the 1st fret, right there on that D string. So we go playing them all now. Okay, you got to make sure you got every single one of those notes ringing out. Like every chord, you never want to slop. No room for slop. This isn't pool. It can be a funky thing, and it can be everything. You know, it's like depends on what you want to use it for. But the B7 and then the B major are both very, very important. You will learn 7th chords for all the other ones starting in the next lesson. But this is very important to learn because E, A, E, B7, what I was playing before, is one chord pattern that is used in, I'd say, over 100,000 songs. Very easily. Okay? You'll probably make up 200, 300, 400 of them yourself with those 3 chords. Don't forget, if you're playing country music, it's all about 3 chords and the truth. Unless you're playing today's new country, then it's all about paying the guys in the business suits. It's not the same thing anymore. Okay, so B7, what can you do with it? Not much. You can put your pinky up 1 fret, up to the 3rd fret. Okay? Now, if you're in B7, there's not much more you can do with it. With the B, I showed you. There's all that you can do because you're only using 1 finger. And you got all these other fingers, you know, just to go wailing with. And you can play wailing. If somebody's playing this chord behind you, though, you could be... You can play all that stuff here with B as you want. if there's a B7 playing behind you with another guy playing it, you get to play all the fancy lead guitar stuff. But just know that, hey, they don't mix together and create bad stuff. They go together as perfectly good music. So B7 and regular B, go at it, man, have fun. But the big thing is, I've always been showing you variations and little tricks you can do with each chord. B7 is limited because you're using every single finger you have except for your thumb. But just know there's that typical walk down. Okay, so for the next 4 minutes that we got for this lesson, I'm going to show you these walks. Okay, so that one, when you're in B7, see, I'm going this one here, middle finger going right up there to the next string up and hitting it. So it sounds like you're playing the bass and the guitar at the same time. But the big lick coming down is the walking thing is here on the A string, 2nd fret, which is your B, twice, open A. Now 4th fret on the E string, one time, 2nd fret, 1st finger, one time, then open E. By the time you get to open E, you're going to play an E chord. So you got, see. So only the first one that's on B has actually 2 notes to pick. I'm going down, up. Everything else is down, 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 up, down, 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 E. Now I'm going, which is open, E, 2, 4, then your A chord. Now A string, just like the B thing, twice or once. 4, 2, open. 4 on the E, A open, 1, and then 2. And that gets you right to B7. Okay, so you got E7 coming up at you though here in our next theory lessons. Okay, so that's the way the B's and the B7s tend to work out there for you. So once again, hope you kind of really dug that. And again, to show you how you can play it this way, barred, so many different ways depending on what you need to do with it. Okay, but then also to show you the actual B7 chord, that's just a unique chord, that particular way of playing it, but that's the way it's played. And it's the only one that's so flippin' weird like that that you can't do anything else with it. But that is definitely the country chord of all country chords. You know, it's that E, A, then E, then B7. But you could just use your pinky. Instead of going, you can do this. Which is your pinky up to the 3rd fret on the high E. Then back to the 2nd, so you got B7. And then back to your E. So there you go. That's lesson number 10. We're going to come back and throw some head stuff your way. Start with some theory, and I'll make this as painless as humanly possible, I swear. Okay? Check you on lesson 11 coming up. Okay, number 11. I get scared when we get these double digits. Catch you in a little bit.